Welcome to Devotionables. My name is Ryan, and today we're going to be in Psalm 80. Psalm 80 is all about restoration. And when I hear the word restoration, I can't help but think about those home improvement TV shows that are on all the time. And I grew up watching This Old House, which is all about restoring old homes. And I was watching an episode a couple of weeks ago where they were in a house where they had completely gutted the kitchen out. And when the host was going over with the new owner where things had been in the old kitchen, he said, well, here was where the stove was. And the owner said, well, how can you tell? And he pointed at the floor, at the stone floor. You could see where it had been worn smooth from generations after generations walking back and forth in front of this home, cooking these meals. And the new owner, you could see like that was kind of impactful. And she said, I want this place to be restored to what it was. And I think that's a good lead in to going into Psalm 80, where we have Asaph, who was a Levite and a musician in Old Testament Israel, crying out to the Lord for the restoration of Israel, seeking to have the relationship between Israel and God restored to what it used to be. And so in these 19 verses, we see Asaph praising the power of God. He seeks the forgiveness from God. He acknowledges God's sovereignty in all circumstances, and he seeks for God to empower the people of Israel to return to him. So in the first three verses, we hear Asaph praising the power of God. So he says, "Give ear, O shepherd of Israel, you who lead Joseph like a flock. You are enthroned upon the cherubim. Shine forth. Before Ephraim and Benjamin and Manasseh, stir up your might and come to save us. Restore us, O God. Let your face shine, that we might be saved." And here Asaph is referring to God as a shepherd. God is our protector and our provider, and God is truly holy. He is enthroned eternally and worthy of our praise, and the Lord's favor and blessing should be sought by his people, and he alone has the power to restore us. We move into verses 4 and 6. We see the author of Psalm 80 seeking God's forgiveness. Starting in verse 4, "O Lord, God of hosts, how long will you be angry with your people's prayers? You have fed them with the bread of tears and given them tears to drink in full measure. You make us an object of contention for our neighbors, and our enemies laugh among themselves. Restore us, O God of hosts. Let your face shine, that we may be saved." So when we read that God is angry with his people's prayers, we need to understand that our sin has an effect on our interactions with God. So not eternally, if we are saved and redeemed by Christ, nothing can change that. But our interactions and our blessings with the Lord are affected by our sin and when we sin against God. And there are natural consequences to sin as well. And there's wisdom seeking to understand if your circumstances, when you're seeking restoration of the Lord, is a result of your choices. And again, we see Asaph praying that the Lord would restore Israel. Not that the people would restore themselves, but that the Lord would do the restoration. When we move into verses 8 through 15, Asaph is acknowledging that God is sovereign both in blessings and hardship. This section uses the metaphor of a vine to describe Israel, and God is the gardener who tends and cares of the vine. And it also acknowledges that God has allowed hardship to come upon Israel by not keeping their enemies out. So Asaph here, he's giving this image of a vine taken out of Egypt, planted in Israel by God, tended to be fruitful, but then also God allowing. It talks about people coming in and stealing the fruit. God is allowing hardship to come upon Israel because of their own faithfulness. And it's important that we don't think when we're seeking restoration from the Lord that he is powerless, that something is outside of his control. So blessings and hardship are both within God's sovereignty. So we move into the final verses, 16 and 19. We see Asaph calling out on God to empower his people to return to him. So starting in verse 17, "But let your hand be on the man of your right hand, the Son of Man, whom you have made strong for yourself. Then we shall not turn back from you. Give us life, and we will call upon your name. Restore us, O Lord God of hosts. Let your face shine, that we may be saved." So Asaph is correct that he sees that the strength to follow God comes from God. It's not going to be able to just have Israel pull themselves up by their bootstraps here. The people of Israel are going to need God to empower them to do this. and that the purpose of the restoration is to have the Lord's face shine again. And I think this is good to think about, that what we're not just seeking, and Asaph is not just seeking blessings, he's seeking the favor of the Lord. And I think that's what we're all seeking when we're seeking that restoration. And I think that it's even deeper than just wanting things to be easy or for God to be happy with us. We're seeking a restoration of that relationship that we saw in Genesis that has been broken. And we know now, we have the hope now that Christ has made a way for us to eventually have that all completely new again. And so we're going to jump into Revelation 21 real quick. So Revelation 21 says, "Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth had passed away. The sea was no more. I saw the holy city, the new Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, 'Behold, the dwelling place of God is with man. He will dwell with them, and they will be his people. And God himself will be with them as their God. He will wipe away every tear from their eyes, and death shall be no more. Neither shall there be mourning, nor crying, nor pain any more, for the former things have passed away.'" So as we're seeking this restoration from the Lord in our lives, we know that there's work to be done now. But the hope that we have is the promise of a new heaven, a new earth, and a complete and perfect relationship with God again. So as you go about this week, I hope you're encouraged to think about that the Lord has made a way for us to have communion with him here, and also has promised a perfect relationship with him in the future. Hope you have a great week, 9 through 12.